been off the last couple of weeks, enjoying the summer a bit, but it is Thursday, September 10th today, and the NBA playoffs are in full swing. So that will be the focus of today's show. I will be joined in a couple minutes' time by Bryan Oringher. Bryan is a former head video coordinator with the Washington Wizards and regional advanced scout with the Atlanta Hawks and Toronto Raptors. So I'm excited to talk to him about some NBA and get you guys set for the Lakers game that's coming up here in just under an hour, or just over an hour, actually, probably tip off. So Bryan is ready in the waiting room, and he is a busy guy, so I'm going to bring him right in. So everybody, thank you very much. And so as Bryan connects, perfect. So Bryan, thank you very much. You've been kind enough to join me this afternoon. I know that you're a very busy man. How are you doing? It's been a while since we spoke.
I'm doing well, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks. Are you and your family staying safe and healthy during these times?
Trying to. We're making do. Getting by.
Good to hear. So, like I said, you're a busy guy, and you squeeze me in here. So let's get right into these NBA playoffs. I want to touch on all three of the series that are happening, and then of course the one that is already finished off, the Miami Heat over the Milwaukee Bucks 4-1. Some might have been a bit surprised by the series, but I don't think that you were very much. So, what did you make of Jimmy Butler and the company dismantling the NBA Eastern Conference's top seed?
Yeah, like you said, I wasn't super surprised. I did pick the Heat to win the series. I think I had them in 7, so maybe a little surprised how easy it was for them. But yeah, I was saying all season that the Bucks were no sure thing to come out of the East, and that they are still a pretty flawed playoff team. I think when obviously Giannis is a star, Middleton's a star, but when you're the guy that's regarded as the superstar MVP player around the league, can't really make a shot outside of 2 feet, it just really limits you. And we saw that over and over again. And not only could he not make a jumper, but just his continued insistence on taking so many of them and taking so many threes was just mind-boggling to me, to be honest. And, obviously he, unfortunately, got hurt when the series was pretty much out of reach anyway. But, yeah, I'd say Milwaukee needs to really evaluate things, really evaluate how they, how Giannis can even get better, and certainly how they can put some better pieces around him. But, yeah, Miami's a really deep team, excellent coaching. Jimmy played like the better player, obviously, for that series. And, I really like the way they move the ball, the way they compete, the way they defend. And, they have just a great mix of veterans with some special young players as well.
Yeah, they do. Jimmy Butler, he's fun to watch. He's a fun player to watch.
Yeah, he's an incredible competitor. I think he just some people found it controversial for sure that I said he's the better basketball player than Giannis right now. But it speaks to the world we live in, where everybody's just obsessed with stats. And Giannis, you look at the regular season, obviously he puts up freakish stat lines of 30-point nights with the 20 rebounds and 6 blocks and all. He can certainly fill up a stat sheet, but when it comes to the playoffs, the games are, we're seeing so many games that are in the 90s, 80s. You win 100 to 95 or whatever, and in those games, it's so crucial to have go-to moves, to be able to get a basket in the mid-range, to just make super winning, impactful plays, and Jimmy kind of just epitomizes that. He's a guy that doesn't put up tremendous numbers in the regular season, by contrast, and shoots the ball pretty terribly in the regular season, but he certainly can make threes when it counts in the playoffs. He's not afraid of the moment. He hustles his tail off, and finds a way to impact the game in so many different ways.
It's nice to see, actually, you mentioned that the scores, in the 90s and stuff, we're really getting, and I enjoy this, the defensive aspect of basketball, the coaching side and the dynamics of, running, different defenses and trying to combat them, not just, everybody go up and take your 3 and that's it. That's how we're going to go back and forth all game. So it's been nice to see.
Yeah, showing you that the defense isn't dead. It's been a pleasant surprise, that I know during the regular season you have to suffer through some of those 140, 138 point games where it looks kind of like an all-star game. But yeah, in the playoffs, defense is obviously something that's demanded pretty much every single possession, and things get a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher to kind of live by the three in the playoffs. And yeah, I think, seeing some teams that really have a defensive identity, do well in the playoffs, like the Lakers, like the Heat to an extent, is fun to watch.
Well, that's where I want to move next, which is perfect, over to the Western Conference with the two LA teams. And I wanted to start with LeBron and his Lakers. And so he became the NBA playoff leader in wins on Tuesday night as the Lakers took, a 2-1 series lead over the Rockets. They seem to be rolling again. They had the slow start in the first round against Portland. Is LeBron going back to the finals this year, Brian? What do you think?
Definitely got a great chance to. I still, I think this series is still going to be a long one. I think people have kind of made, some people at least, an assumption that the Lakers are kind of just rolling now. But I have Houston tonight, and I do think they'll really extend this series. LeBron, obviously, I mean, to me, he's the MVP. I was saying that all season, and he, his first half of Game 3 was absolutely unbelievable, and he's really stepped up and is carrying them. But if he's not putting up 40 points and playing out of his mind, they do have some limitations as a team. They do lack some third, fourth pieces in terms of scorers. And I think Houston, the way they play, is just not a great matchup against the Lakers, and that's kind of what we saw in Game 1 and certainly parts of Games 2 and 3. To an extent, it's like the threes are better than twos deal. Houston just comes down taking so many threes, but they get so many good looks, and the Lakers, are a lot more reliant on like AD post-ups and LeBron muscling his way to the basket. So, I think the way Houston plays, they still have a great chance tonight. I think the house thing is a very big deal. That's, proven to be a pretty huge factor now in the series. But, Harden and Russ are so talented, and, they have so many good pieces like PJ Tucker and Covington alongside them who can really defend and make threes. And, I think tonight should be a great battle.
Yeah, and that game should just over an hour here till that game starts. So that should be really good. So if anybody's going to miss the game, you can check out the highlights here on the Sports Talk Line Network. And Brian, I know that you're a big all over into the game, so where can they find you on Twitter while they're watching the game? I'm not done with you yet. I got a couple more questions, but just want so they can make sure they're tuned into all the great stuff while they're watching.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's just Scout with Bryan, and Bryan is with a Y, on Twitter, YouTube. Scout with Bryan, all one word. They can find all my content.
Fantastic, Brian. Thank you. So let's move into the other LA series here. So the Clippers, Denver Nuggets. Wanted to ask you about some post-game comments from Game 4, because Michael Porter Jr., he made some interesting comments about the coaching and just kind of the play calling. And I absolutely loved your response to it. If you kind of let everybody know what you said to it, and then just kind of what do the players not named Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic on the Nuggets have to do for them to have a chance, if they even have one?
Yeah, I think my response was something, might have even just been the word "shut up, rookie." I don't remember exactly.
It was fantastic. I loved it so much, man.
He talks too much, to be perfectly honest, and he's revealed that a few times already in his young career, and just certainly has no business as a rookie who already has a reputation for being a guy who doesn't really ever pass the ball, and if anything, he's the ball hog. And for him to come out post game and be complaining about two superstar players having too many touches and criticizing kind of them and the coaching staff and throwing everybody under the bus was just completely ridiculous. I think he's totally wrong, especially because you watch Denver, the way they play, they run very few actual plays. Even Jokic and Murray are not really getting a whole bunch of plays called for them. They kind of just have a style and a system of nonstop movement. And obviously a lot of that's going to go through Jokic because he's maybe the most purely skilled big man ever. I mean, the way he dribbles and passes is just outrageous.
There's a rebound. He's inbounding the ball.
Yeah, he's inbounding. Yeah, he's taking it up. He's making full court passes. He does everything. So Michael Porter Jr. has a great chance to get open looks within the offense, and it's all about how much he moves and how the defense is playing, and everything is just a reaction to what the Clippers are doing. So, yeah, I mean, he certainly could play harder and create a little more offense for himself, but criticizing the coaches and the players for it was just ridiculous. In terms of Denver overall, I think last night was their worst game of the series to me. I think they totally just got taken out of what they wanted to do by the Clippers' pressure, by Patrick Beverley's defense, and the Clippers just kind of looked like a juggernaut defensively. I think they've had their moments in this series where, that they've given them a little bit of a challenge, and certainly stealing Game 1 was a big deal. I think they can extend it to a Game 6, but they pretty much have shown that they need to play almost a perfect game, and the way Beverly and Paul George and Kawhi are defending right now, they're just super locked in, and for them to win games, I think they really need the Clippers. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Apologies for that.
No worries.
They need the Clippers to not be at their absolute best for them to have a chance, and it's really the Clippers are just showing why to me they're the most talented team in the league and should really be the championship favorite if they play to that potential every night.
Imagine, I mean, I can't wait for it, and I'm holding my breath on it because it hasn't happened yet, and we still got a lot. That's why they play the games. But of course, on all LA Western Conference Finals would be absolutely fantastic for everybody involved. I mean, I would just love to. I'm up in here in Canada, and I'm just please give me Kawhi against LeBron. Give me Lakers versus Clippers.
Right. Yeah, just a bummer that it couldn't take place in Staples Center. How cool would that be too? But all along, I believed even in the offseason that these are the two best teams in the league. So it's got a great chance to happen, and would certainly be awesome to watch, even in Orlando.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm joined by Bryan Oringher here on the Unnamed Sports Show. I want to, of course, finish off because, like I said, I'm from Canada. The show's got a little bit of a Canadian flair. And the Toronto Raptors, we the North, forced the big Game 7 that will happen Friday against the storied franchise Boston Celtics. So, what did you make of that, double overtime Game 6 win? What do you think of what Nick Nurse is doing, Bryan? I'll just leave the floor open to you about this one. And then, I'm pumped, so pumped for tomorrow's game. I have it all off. Yeah.
It was, to me, an improbable, how bad their offense looked in the first half. It certainly didn't look like they'd be able to muster enough offense to pull that out. But it kind of just, it was a game that summarizes the Toronto Raptors in a way. It was just super, super gritty. They just stayed with it, defended. Kyle Lowry is the ultimate warrior. OG had some great moments. Powell had some huge moments. And I think, to be basically 0.5 seconds away from being down 0-3, before a miracle shot to now going to a Game 7 is pretty much all you can ask for. I think Game 7 will be super competitive overall. I think they've been outplayed obviously by a little bit, this whole series, and just are really struggling at times to find offense. But, when Freddie V gets going in the second half and the way Lowry got going, if you just really hope and pray that Siakam can give them a little something more tomorrow, and OG can keep stepping up, and maybe Gasol can make some shots, and Ibaka, had some huge threes yesterday. Nick Nurse does a great job just getting those guys to keep battling, and I thought, the message yesterday was clearly trying to maintain their confidence and trying to keep positive body language despite, how bad things looked, and I think that kind of coaching and that kind of positivity ended up being exactly what they needed, just having just enough faith in them to encourage those guys to keep taking shots and not not go into a shell and be afraid to make plays. So yeah, he did a masterful job. It was a heck of a game, and I'm hoping that Game 7 will be that same way.
I'm not gonna lie, like 8-minute mark of the first quarter, I'm like, really? This is what we're doing. We're gonna do it again, the exact same thing that we just and then they kind of picked it up and stuff. And what I'm noticing in this kind of postseason, and kind of from all teams, and Raptors, Celtics, and the Raptors have known to kind of have a lot of depth and come off the bench, but we're only seeing really 8-9 players max for every team. And there was a lot of minutes on both sides for the Raptors, the Celtics. Brown and Tatum, they're all up over 40 minutes last game. Same with Lowry and Siakam and stuff. I mean, you got to think it's going to start taking its toll, and maybe the bench might make an impact in Game 7.
Yeah, certainly could. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe in the first half is when both coaches will try to maybe squeeze in like the Terrence Davis, Matt Thomas types a little bit more. The Robert Williams, the guys that Grant Williams, the guys that don't get a ton of run in the series. I'm sure both coaches will probably try to buy their guys a little bit more rest maybe in the first half. But yeah, I mean, I think down the stretch, especially, kind of like yesterday when whatever it was from like the fourth quarter on, there was like zero substitutions.
No subs, yeah.
The last 20 minutes of the game, I think that's going to happen in the Game 7 too. So yeah, I mean, I to be perfectly honest, if it doesn't go overtimes or anything, a score in like the 80s or something wouldn't shock me as a final score tomorrow. I think both teams are going to be really dead and really tired and really struggle to get good shots at times. But it'll certainly be a defensive slugfest, I would think, and just whoever can limp across that finish line and make enough shots down the stretch should win the game. So yeah, it'll be a slog, but it should be a fun one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch it. So, Bryan, before I let you go here, you've been kind enough to join me. Give me about 20 minutes time. I'm getting to that 20-minute time mark, so I'm watching it. Don't worry. I know you're a busy guy. And you got stuff to do. So, before I let you go, who could you give me, if you want? You can go ahead and pass on this, but do you want to give me your NBA champion, or your finals and your champion prediction? Like I said, you can totally say nope, not doing that. That's
yeah. I think on my bracket, when I even filled it out at the beginning, I think I had the Clippers over the Heat. So just for consistency's sake, I think I'll stick with that. That'd be a fun series. Yeah, I mean, every night anything can happen. I mean, I picked in this series, I picked Boston over Toronto in 7, but Game 7 will be a coin flip. Boston, Miami, that series should go to 7 games, I would think. The Lakers, Clippers, or even the Rockets, Clippers, I think would be an outstanding series too. So I think Game 7's all around. It's really, really hard to call it, but for again the sake of sticking with what I had, I'll go with Heat Clippers for now.
Oh, I love it. So Bryan, thank you again for joining me here today on the Unnamed Sports Show. You want to I know you're going to be covering the game tonight, and you already kind of plugged your Twitter, but I know, what do you got working on? Because I know you have your Patreon that people can follow you on and subscribe to it, and check out all the great stuff that you do with from your vast NBA knowledge.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you having me. Yeah, I'm working on some Lakers type videos, certainly some previews of the next round. And the other thing I think people might find cool is, I don't know if you've had a chance yet, but certainly hope you can come watch one of the games with us on that Hot Mic app. Really cool app. It's just Hot MIC in the App Store. Promo code is SCOUT in all caps, 100% free. And basically you just get to watch the game live with me calling it. You just have it on TV, but you can, stream my call to your Bluetooth speaker or just your phone or whatever and sync it up live with the game action. We've got a live chat in there. So definitely be doing that tomorrow for the Game 7 and a lot of games for the rest of the playoffs. So yeah, hope you guys have a chance to come check it out on that Hot Mic app.
That's awesome. So yeah, check out Scout with Bryan on the Hot Mic app there, and also make sure to follow him on Twitter, Bryan. And I'd love to have you on again to talk some NBA before the finals or during the finals if you have some time.
For sure, we'll do it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me, and you have yourself a great day.
You too. Thanks, Josh. Take care.
Cheers. Fantastic. So, again, thank you to my guest, Bryan Oringher, for joining me to talk some NBA, get everybody set up. There's some a big game today. Lakers, Rockets. Like you said, the series isn't over. It's 2-1. You look at the numbers that James Harden's putting up: 33, 9, and 9 last game. Russell Westbrook is on fire too. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. If these guys get some help from other people, it's going to be a long series with the Lakers. And you know what that means? And I know you sports talking people who are here listening and watching love it, because that just means more basketball for us to watch and more sports. And I know we got other sports and we got other stuff. We're not going to talk about this show. This is all basketball right now. So yeah, I'm excited for the game 7 tomorrow with the Toronto Raptors. Pretty pumped about the game tonight. And then also we got the LA Clippers. They can finish off the series against the Denver Nuggets on Friday night. So everybody, thank you very much for joining me on this episode 17 of the Unnamed Sports Show. And don't worry, because you probably won't have to wait long for the next episode. But in the meantime, make sure to follow the Sports Talk Line channel. Hit the like and subscribe button down at the bottom. I don't know if I'm on the right side, probably not. And check out all of our great NBA highlights and other shows. We had the Saved by the Bellerin guys go this morning, and the Premier League, that's getting back up. So check that out. No Remorse Nate, I'm sure his show's going to be starting back up with NFL, and Spinksy's got his college football show. And then also check out our website at sportstalkline.com. We got the latest articles, shows, podcasts. Well, just pretty much everything I covered. So thanks again to my guest, Bryan Oringher, and for joining me. And of course, thank you to my producer, Lee. And now I'm going to get ready to watch the Lakers-Rockets game. So as always, remember to love sports, all sports.